Convene. We can move to addition item H, the plebiscite site discussion. Brent, you added this?
Yeah, there was concerns earlier that the word by word plebiscite results could compromise the confidentiality of the election. We received a professional opinion that it would not compromise confidentiality, so I see no reason not to release these results. It's information. And I would make a motion that we, unless there's any objections, of course, that we release this information and be transparent.
Okay, so that's your motion.
Yes, I would move that we make public the results, word by word results of the nuclear power plebiscite.
You said for all of them, right, Brent?
Say that again, Linda?
He meant that it would be each ward individual what the vote was, correct?
Yes, the results word by word.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
I just don't think it's a good idea. I think it's going to cause more division in the communities.
I don't share that. It's just information. I don't think it's going to cause any problems. So,
If it's just information, then why is it so important?
it
We have
won't
our
be-
vote. We have the vote recorded, so.
It won't be important to most people at all. There's only a few people that would be interested in it. And again, I don't, but let's give the public credit. This is not going to cause problems for anyone. It's information. We went through the process to have a plebiscite. I think it's important to have all the information, the results out there for the public to see. It's information, that's all.
Well, yeah, the results will
Yeah.
be public. Word by word, what that's going to add to it. But anyway, that's your motion. So, any other questions? Okay, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Opposed.
Yes.
Opposed?
Well, I'm for it, just so anybody knows.
Well,
I have no problem.
you voted in favor, Linda?
Yes, I did. So you have it recorded, please.
Yep. Okay, opposed?
Oh, I thought you were against it before, Linda. You changed your
No.
mind?
No, it wasn't that. I have no problem with it because that's part of
Okay, so
our,
I'm just gonna do a council by council. We're gonna record the vote. So Brent is in favor, Linda's in favor. Anybody else? Okay, so Gary, you're opposed? Kayla,
Opposed.
Brenda,
Opposed.
Gloria,
In favor.
in favor? Okay. And I'm opposed. So that's defeated 4-3. Item I is addition, Grimshaw attraction retention that was just sent out.
Yeah, who sent this one?
I think Kaylin did.
Just gonna find the email.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. I have questions.
me too, me too.
Accepted the increase for Grimshaw Medical Clinic for 2026. The increase from 36,000 to 50,000. That's a total budget, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's the total amount, and then they'll break it out per the formula to each municipality like they always do.
Okay. The last agreement that we had for this was not based on a budget. It was a flat rate of 9,857 per year. I don't know how many municipalities are part of that, that's just between us and the Grimshaw.
Grimshaw can do a piece.
There's- Yeah. So what happened last night at the meeting, Josh, is that I guess there was a letter sent out to all the member municipalities. I guess this has been an ongoing discussion, and with the change to the new medical clinic in Grimshaw, they determined that there needed to be an increase from that 36,000 to 50,000 to cover the new building inflation, et cetera, et cetera. It hasn't been changed for a while. And then that that amount gets put into a calculator formula to figure out what each municipality would pay. And they were looking to ratify it, but I don't recall seeing it at our council. I know it's on MDFP's agenda tonight. The Village of Berwyn just did theirs at their last meeting. But the question was more so that I wasn't aware that we got a letter yet.
I have never seen it. I was not
Yeah.
brought forward in any of our budget discussions, so I was completely unaware of this.
So that
We haven't adjusted for it. At all. I don't know who would have received the letter if we got one.
Okay, so what I'll do, Josh, then is if it's okay with council, I'll email the chair back and get a copy of that letter and figure out how come we didn't get one or where it went and go from there.
maybe it was mailed instead of emailed.
What the increase is gonna look like for each municipality?
I don't know. All I know is that there is like, I don't think it's really a requisition amount. I don't know what the right word is. But that we contribute, and then so we do the scholarship amount, which isn't changing, and then just this other amount. So I'm not sure. I didn't see the letter. So I can email the chair and get that as soon as possible, because it sounds like everybody is just kind of starting to talk about it now. So
Yeah, I have the same amounts that we've had for the last while. Looks like the last agreement that we had was actually just a 1-year agreement, and it was expired in 2024.
okay, I'll jump on that today, and Stacy's really quick about it, and I'm sure I can get an answer very quick. And we'll just get like a virtual letter or something to get us through. Is that sufficient?
It is, we won't be able to make a motion on it until January 13th.
I was just gonna bring it up, that this,
Yeah.
just understanding that we won't ratify this until the 13th of January. And I guess depends on the amount, right? You don't even know that, so, whatever that form. So is this reflecting the new clinic now that they had to increase their requisition?
It is, yeah. And to be honest, I haven't been following the information. This was my first meeting as the new rep, so I can't speak to it, but it kind of sounded like it's been an ongoing discussion at the committee level for a little bit, and then there was some confusion going on, so I think we just need a copy of that letter, and that's where I'll leave it. So I will make sure that I reach out today, and I will CC you on that letter, Josh, and we'll
And maybe ask about a revised agreement between all the municipalities too.
Is it explaining the agreement, how they split it up?
It's just, this old one just had a flat rate. It's a 1-pager and it's expired, so.
Yeah, because some of there's gotta be call it.
I was just,
Back in the better word.
So 25 has been expired.
This will be for 2026. Maybe Brenda, if you have any background.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, I was trying to remember what it was and I can't find my notes on it, but I know it wasn't a huge amount for the county. But yeah, I guess if Kaylin's looking into it, we can get that number quickly.
Well,
Yeah, I'll
will
get
say
on
this- Well, go ahead, Kevin.
I was gonna say, yeah, I'll get on that. I think at this point, we can't really have a very good discussion about it until we get that letter. So I'll get that letter and then we'll do that, and I'll make sure I let them know that we're not meeting again until the 13th. So our ratification won't come until then, but it was my understanding it will be for the 2026 budget year anyway. So we probably have a little bit of time to ratify it.
And just looking at all the comments there that you provided and seeing what the budget was based on previously, it looks like it's probably gonna be like $2,500 more for each municipality a year, so. Not a budget breaker by any means, but
still.
Still need some information and maybe an agreement, so.
Okay, I will, I'll put that in there. And then the only other thing was if we could share on our social media, the advertisement for the scholarship that the committee does. There hasn't been any applicants yet, so we would
Taylor,
refresh that. So that would be great.
all done.
Already done. And my own comment I was gonna make there was, I know when, before they found this new location for the clinic, met with MD Reeve and with town mayor, and they were kind of at a crisis. The old clinic was pretty much end of its life the way it was without putting a bunch of money, so they were looking at constructing a new building, which you start talking millions of dollars. And they were looking for us to partner in it, of course. And so I guess this was a much better alternative when they found this other location, and we can probably easily support that as compared to financing a new building. So anyway.
Well, and it's proven beneficial, right? Like the updates we got last night were that it had a big impact on the doctors and retention efforts. So I think for a good cause, but I will get a revised agreement in those numbers for you, Josh, ASAP.
Yeah,
Okay, just need a motion to acknowledge receipt of this verbal discussion, and Councillor Sheldon make sure that the committee sends a letter to the county with a revised agreement. Okay, Councillor Reese moves, all in favor? That's carried. So we will adjourn our regular meeting now and call to order our Ag Service Board meeting. Blake, come on up here. Not everybody find the agenda for the Ag Service Board? That was a separate email too, wasn't it? Morning.
You guys brave the Prairie's roads?
Get as much snow up there?
No, not as much as you guys. We got about 8 or 10 inches so far. I think somebody said in Hotchkiss they had like 16 or what I figured.
Hard to tell if you measure a drift or if you measure
Yeah,
up in barbecue, or wasn't that the standard measurement?
probably somewhere standard.
Okay, adoption of the agenda. There's one addition on there. Any other additions? If not, with a motion to approve the agenda, Councillor Declan, all in favor? Carried. Minutes from our last ASB. That doesn't make sense. Tuesday, December.
Sorry, I accidentally switched them.
oh, that changed, okay. So it's the.
October 28th.
October 28th.
Yeah, so December 9th should go up where it says October 28th in the adoption of the agenda and vice versa.
Okay, any discussion arising from the minutes?
I'll move adoption of the minutes.
Okay. All in favor? Carried. New business 63.01, the Bag Fielding report. You have a report, Blake, or not?
No, I don't see one on October 28th already.
Okay, so we'll just move down to 63.02. Item A is Ag Service Board Provincial Committee letter.
I'm not sure how much you want to go through this individually or just treat the package as a whole, but I'm not sure if you guys read it. Yeah, it's individually in the package. I'm just not sure if you guys read the letter, if there's anything overwhelmingly you want to discuss about it, or if you just want to accept it for information.
Except for information, I don't think there's anything that's.
Like they got quite a few changes that they're proposing like later on in the resolution package that they kind of laid out in a, I don't know, a table kind of formation on the change they made and then their rationale. Most of them so far seem pretty straightforward, but if there's nothing to address to the committee letter that you guys feel we need to talk about, you guys can just accept it for information on that one if you want.
Okay, so we can, I don't need a motion just to.
Yeah,
Accept
pretty
it
simple.
for information. I'll move that. Okay, Councillor Reese. All in favor? Item B is Ag Service Board resolution process information Q&R segment. So we heard about this at the zone meeting or regional meeting, you call it. They're gonna overhaul the resolution session because I think after last year, we realized it was,
Little chaotic. Basically it's December 11th. It's on here basically to get your guys' attention, update your calendar because it's in 2 days. Basically can accept that for information or discuss amongst your,
Registers with the get paid.
yeah, like see who wants to go to it. I doubt all of you need to attend it, but who's going again? Terry, Brenda, Gary, and Linda. So probably the 2 people that are gonna be voting maybe should try to attend it at least.
yeah, I'll have a look at it. Sure. Yeah, so far the 11 is open, so.
Sorry,
Yes.
Terry, I couldn't hear you. Are you, are we gonna drive together or what's happening?
This is for the online webinar on December 11th from 9 to 10. I think Terry said he would attend the webinar, and Gloria, were you a yes as well?
Yes.
It's a webinar to go over the kind of like new rules and procedures, kind of how they're gonna streamline the process before the conference. I doubt everybody has to attend, but at least 2 voting members. So between Terry, Gary, Brenda, and Linda, we should probably have at least 2.
I can
2.
attend the webinar.
Whoever's available, I think could attend, just the more ears to interpret it.
So that was Terry, Gloria, and Brenda said she'd attend as well.
How about Gary?
Gary gave the thumbs up.
Oh, can't see them.
Yeah.
Oh, now I can.
Now you can see.
What about Linda?
Well,
No?
if
Caleb,
you want, but I mean, I thought we were talking about the ones that were, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, the ones that are gonna attend. So far we got Terry, Brenda, and Gary. It's lots. Like I don't think everybody needs to attend. Like obviously you can.
No,
Gloria
that's
as
fine.
well.
Well, Gloria is going to attend, so.
And then Kaylin, you're a no or yes?
Yeah, I'm a no. I think if we got a few people and the voting people, that's the most important thing. So I can make the motion to approve those Terry, Gloria, Brenda, and Gary to attend the webinar. Did I get that right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Mike, are you gonna register, sir? Cause
Yeah, there's an open link there. It don't really matter.
if I got a link, I can do it myself, but.
There's a link on the sheet, but yeah, I could do it after. It'd probably take like 3 minutes.
So you can click on it.
Sounds good.
Well. You'll do that, Blake?
Yeah.
Okay, so Blake will register us then.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor? Carried. Next is internal briefing to ASBs, summary of the minister meeting. So you're back there as well.
It's basically an update on where the past year's resolutions stand. They're pretty standardly generic at this point, but you guys don't have anything to discuss, we could accept that for information as well.
I'll make the motion to accept it as information.
Councillor Halibisky moved to accept the briefing to ASBs as information. All in favor? Carried. Now we come to item D, the resolution package. So there's not that many, so maybe we just go through them quickly.
Yeah, so in the resolution package, they do have like these resolutions that they label like PC in front of them. Those are resolutions that come from the provincial committee, and I noticed like a couple of them say like TBD, like to be determined. I'm guessing they're not written yet, but they have what, 3 that are on there that don't say TBD, but I didn't see them anywhere in the resolution package. So there's only the 4 that were sponsored by other municipalities.
So just a minute, so those provincial committee ones, they're not
I don't see a copy anywhere in the resolution package. I was trying to flip through and find them and see if they put them in a different spot, which didn't really make sense. But the first 10 pages or so is the minutes and the resolutions from last one. So then the first resolution we get to is basically emergency registration of 2% liquid strychnine for Richardson ground squirrel control. I feel like this version of a resolution has been every year for like the last 15 years since I've been here.
Yeah.
I thought last year there was a presentation on the alternatives, like the Roosevelt. Like we don't have Richardson ground squirrel, so like for us, we could probably just mostly abstain from the vote because it doesn't really affect us. But I thought that presentation last year, the guy was saying if like used appropriately, it was showing fairly good effectiveness. Obviously not as good as strychnine, but a decent alternative. So that's the experts from, he was from Saskatchewan, this guy from the Saskatchewan government. He was a ag specialist. So I'm not really sure what's really going on, if like for some reason it's not working as well as in Alberta as it is in other provinces or what it is. So I'm not opposed or against it. I feel like it's there every year. So like for
Yeah,
us,
so-
we could just not even vote on it.
Yeah, I think, well, we can vote on it, we can support it.
Didn't
right?
say yes or no.
Yeah.
Okay, how about the next one? Exemption of ag equipment, environmental protection.
So this one basically wants to get rid of like your DEF systems and your DPF filters on like designated ag equipment. You're actually seeing this exact same push happen in the States. Like Trump has already removed a lot of the emissions exemptions on ag tractors. I've actually just read on Facebook here this morning, they're going one step further and actually trying to forcefully eliminate it and have the manufacturer bring down the cost of equipment to help fight these rising costs of equipment. And they're actually targeting John Deere in particular has this, like, you don't actually have the right to fix your own tractor, especially on the computer sensor side. He's actually trying to go after that and say, like, no, you can't. Somebody can't buy a tractor for you $1 million and then have no way to fix it on their farm. So they're actually kind of expanding this legislation. So I personally would love to see this emission stuff removed off tractors because it causes a tremendous amount of downtime and pointless breakdowns where you have a $250,000, $300,000 chore tractor and it can't run because it's in limp mode because of certain sensor freezes up in the winter or whatever, right? I for it. I don't know how you guys feel.
I think we are too. I mean, ultimately, you get rid of it on everything. My pickup truck and the transport trucks, and it's really doesn't show any benefit to the environment.
Yeah, and
But I don't know, like, if they did, you know, I mean, this is a long ways from ever being kicked out. Our government, not like Trump, where he starts throwing the axe at things there, but who would pay for, so say if you had $1 million combine with DEF on it, and they said, they're gonna, you don't have to have it anymore, if you want to delete it, that's not gonna be cheap then either, right?
yeah, so some of that stuff, they put legislation like whatever the engine stamp plate on your engine has, that is legally how it's supposed to operate. So like that's why a lot of people will go and buy a block that is stamped that it's pre-emissions and then they don't have to have the emissions. The only concern I have in this is if the United States removes all this stuff, right? So they're not really doing the R&D on it anymore. And then all of a sudden Canada says, no, you have to have that stuff on there. The quality of the technology is going to get worse because they don't have, most of this equipment is built in the States and then comes across the border. And then if they're just going to slap this junk on here to come to Canada and be like, well, we don't really care if it works or whatever, because we don't have to do it in our largest market, which is the States. To me, the quality of this technology is going to get like rapidly inferior. So to me, like we should be pushing to align with like where this equipment's built. That's the one concern I have.
Well, no, we definitely support this, I think. Yeah, about the market fuel program review.
Bark fuel program review. I didn't even know about this till this morning, but apparently the Alberta Farm Fuel Benefit, the UCP government is looking at making changes to more of like a rebate system. So you wouldn't get it taken off your fuel ahead of time, which seems the easiest way to do it. They'd make you basically, from what their write-up is saying, is you would collect all your receipts and then have to like apply. So you'd pay for all the fuel up front and then you'd turn around and apply for your benefit back. They're saying it just kind of seems redundant, which I agree. It seems a redundant program to do it, that they charge it and then we have to rebate it back when they could just easily the way the Alberta Farm Fuel Benefit works is you basically have to submit documents saying that you make at least $10,000 in agricultural revenue, and then you get your exemption. And then from then you provide your exemption to whoever your fuel retailer is. So for me, UFA and Co-op, and then they just take the deduction off my fuel there, and they only charge me what they have to, right? So it seems like that system's pretty straightforward already. I don't know why they have to make changes. So that's basically what this resolution is saying. Like,
I think the UFAs and the co-ops are the ones pushing this too, because for them, it's a lot more expense to have marked fuel, regular fuel, have more extra pumps, extra tanks. This way they can put everything in one tank, and then it's up to the producer to collect it, right?
yeah, so what they could do actually is like Co-op in particular, they carry, like, say for premium gasoline, I run in my augers, they don't carry a premium dyed and a premium clear because they don't want to have two small tanks doing that. So what they do is they just sell me premium clear and then run it through the farm fuel benefit and give me my whatever 11 cents or whatever it is, right? So I don't see why the government couldn't say that, like just run clear fuel and have these fuel benefits just pushing clear fuel, but just show up that they're a marked account with a deduction, right? Like,
I guess that'd be a discussion you have to have with the distributors, right?
yeah, it seems pretty easy solution actually to fix, right?
Anyway, I would support that they leave it as it is.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Water
In favor of
distribution
this.
activity funding. Oh, somebody got a comment?
Brenda said she was in favor of supporting it.
I see heads nodding, thumbs up.
The next one's rural water distribution connectivity funding. It's basically like right in line with what you guys are doing today. I can't imagine you guys being against it. They also do have programs for agricultural for like building new dugouts for water, either household or livestock, and or drilling wells that people use for either livestock or household use. So I can't imagine they can't expand that program to include funding connections, right?
Yeah, I mean, they say expand it. But there's not much left to expand because they cut out all our PFRA funding. Yeah, I guess you can still get dugouts built with some assistance, but
Even that, the dugouts are, what are they down to, 25% now, up to 10 grand? So even if they expect, like, most of the year, you're up to 10 grand, so you'd have to build 40,000 dugouts to max out your 10 grand, right? So I can't see why they couldn't expand that and say, like, if your hookup's 10 grand, we'll give you $2,500, because most guys aren't building $40,000 worth of dugouts in a 5-year period. Usually that grant funding's renewed for 5-year stream. I can't see why they can't include that in there and then let the person use their 10 grand how they want to use it, right? I don't know, like Terry, Gary, you guys could probably expand on when the last time you used your 10 grand for building dugouts. Have you ever maxed out your 10 grand for building dugouts in 5-year period? I know
well, it used
I
to be
haven't.
50%.
It used to be 50%, but I'm pretty sure they're down to 25%.
I know there was. But I did get some help building the one there, but
Yeah, but you never would have maxed out
no.
your allotment for your 10 years.
But anyway, this is one of the ones that are asking for money. After RMA, the finance minister give a sob story there for a half hour, probably not. But we can definitely let the resolution people push it forward, so we would support that. I see thumbs up and heads nodding again. Okay, so then the other ones, I guess they remain to be seen, those ones that the provincial committee is gonna bring forward, but they all look like they're I don't see any reason to push back on them.
Yeah, so that's basically,
Okay, so
that's it for that
we'll
one.
get a motion to acknowledge receipt of the resolution package. Councillor Reeve,
make that
all in
motion.
favor? Hearing. Okay, item E is come up again on the proposed resolution process. So I never read through it, I'll be honest about it, I don't know what they're gonna change.
I was kind of reading through it here this morning. The first page, there's nothing. It's all like titles on how they're gonna organize the documents and flow of how the process is gonna go. To me, nothing there seemed too real concerning. Imagine there'd be lots of discussion at the actual conference. The only place I got to is on the second page. One of the major changes is they're proposing is all resolutions are adopted by a 2/3 majority vote now instead of the 50+1. Like I'm not really against the 2/3. Their basic rationale is saying like a higher percentage of the body supports this resolution, therefore it should maybe carry more weight in consideration. Secondly, it kind of aligns with what they told us last conference, that what they basically said or admitted is they only get to meet with the minister on average twice a year for 1 hour. So they can only effectively lobby on so many resolutions. Plus we carry 3 years of resolutions forward. So they basically kind of admitted to us is that the people that were on the board were just picking whatever resolutions they thought were the best. So the ones their municipalities support over the last 3 years, I'm guessing, or neighboring ones. And then now last year they said, we want you guys as the body to vote and tell us what your 3 most important resolutions are, because that's all they have time to lobby for. So this 2/3 is also, in my mind, trying to limit the volume of resolutions, which I don't think is a bad thing, because there are a lot of resolutions, in my opinion, that get passed that are like maybe not as good as they could be, or only squeak out by like a 54% or 58%. And maybe those ones could go back to the drawing board and kind of be reworked. And we do see a lot of resolutions that get like amended to all hell. And when that happens, they should just get thrown out. You should just say like, hey, bring it back to us next year, clean it up, right? So I'm not really opposed to that. That's just kind of as far as I got in the process here reading this morning of all these changes, but that's the only one in the first page and a half I've seen that maybe the biggest change going forward.
Downside, increasing the threshold is, when there's regional concerns, north and south, then it tends to, work against us, right? Like if there's a concern that's greater in the north, but if you're saying they're cherry picking what they present minister, it's kind of, it doesn't really work anyway.
Yeah. I think though, if it's I don't know, I would like to think in theory, if it is a well-written resolution that say only affects everybody north of Edmonton, let's say, you would think in theory, if it was still a well-written resolution that people in the south could understand, like how that's a major concern to agriculture, you think you'd still be able to get support. But I've been to quite a few of these now, like where it's like a resolution, the 2 south and central just like tear it apart, right? So that's definitely one like valid concern for sure. But like obviously we'll have our chance to vote on these and see how everybody feels. I just think it's like streamlined with what the provincial committee wants to do. Like they're trying to limit the volume of resolutions, because most of the resolutions they have 0 time to lobby on the minister with anyways. So unless it's like a real cut and dry, simple resolution, like we're just asking for this minor change in a definition or whatever, that could easily be done. But if it's a more complex issue, they won't have time to lobby on it, right? So I guess I'm ambivalent to changing it either way, right?
Came up our same issue, because there's one of the resolutions, 1 or 2 increase the threshold, and it didn't pass, but like
we do have the other option on like specific issues, like if it's specific to just the Peace region, where we form various committees and we lobby as a committee like separately from these organizations too. Like obviously that's more work and time constraint on our resources, but there is that avenue for like specific regional concerns, right? But if you guys want to vote against it, I don't know, you can decide that here today, or just leave it in the hands of the 2 voters.
We should have a decision today. I mean, we could wait, because you're probably not gonna have an Ag Service Board meeting in January before
we could just throw it on a general council meeting and just touch on it too on the 13th or 11th. 13th of January.
Because provincial conferences on the 20th, right? 21st.
Yeah.
So we could, I don't know what good waiting to do. We support this or not. I don't see a problem with it. Really.
And I see both sides of the argument. I'm
Yeah.
not strong either way on it, so you know, there's a lot of resolutions out there, and a lot of them are asking for money, and I think people, even as they're voting for them, they know that there's very little chance of it going there.
Yeah. See, and like when they told us that we should pick our favorite 3 resolutions, because like the debating the resolutions, it takes a long time. I was thinking as soon as they said that, why don't you vote on your favorite 3 resolutions before you even talk about all 10 of them and just throw 7 of them away like right away and be like, we're just going to talk about the 3 best ones and pass them all and done. Like, why waste your time talking about 10 to then next year go, yeah, these 7 are junk. You know what I mean? Like,
But that's kind of, it's almost subjective too. I mean, what
Yeah.
the North might think is their favorite 3 might be totally different than what the South thinks, right? So,
yeah. But even like we seen that, like that was the biggest point of contention at the debate of that meeting was they were saying, well, why didn't you tell us what your goal was before you? Because they just randomly asked us, like, just pick your 3 favorite out of this list. They never said like, well, we're not going to lobby on the rest. And everybody was mad, being like, well, if I knew that was the thing, I was going to vote for my own resolution because I didn't even vote for my own resolution because I thought there were 3 better ones on there, right? So now you're going to have that the people know that they're going to intentionally like lobby and be like, hey, we all in the piece need to vote for this one from Greenview last year because we got to support ours. So it's not going to be about objectively picking the best 3 for Alberta. It's going to be about, you know, like politicking and trying to get 30 people to vote for the one that was written out of Greenview, right? More regional concerns. So there's going to be that dynamic at play now as well, right?
So maybe that's where this 2/3 majority might,
Weed some of
That
them
might
out.
help.
they can narrow them down, right?
Yeah. Do you have something to say, Linda? Or
Yeah, I was agreeing with that that 2/3 might be the best way to go.
yeah. And then a lot of that, like you won't have to voice your consent like publicly in the floor. You could hide it through the vote. So if you kind of think it's a lesser important resolution, you can just vote against it. And if it doesn't break the 2/3 threshold, it goes away. You don't have to stand up on the floor or say County of Northern Lights thinks these are the 3 best ones, which I don't think we have too many people that are like super sheepish and don't want to do that, but maybe for other municipalities, that's like an easier out, right? So I'm not personally opposed to the change, but I don't vote. So it's however you guys wanna.
I could see this having a long debate on this.
Yeah.
Proposal is to change the process, I think, which is probably fair, right? I mean, it's going to be a big shift.
I'm fine if you guys don't want to decide on it today and you just say like the 4 people that are going there, listen to the debate at the floor. And if like you get moved one way or the other, you 4 just talk at the table and go, yeah, we're going to support it. We're not going to support it. That's fine too.
I think that's probably a good approach.
So we can just
That's
carry
what
on.
we
And
usually do, yeah. I think we usually do that, right, Terry, when we're at these meetings, like we kind of discuss it first here and then when we're there, if we can change our minds, right?
so that kind of covers that section. The top third of the second page is the biggest thing. Most of the things that are going to change are probably what I was just getting to reading, so we can go over them together if most of you haven't read them, is these the major amendment rules. So a lot of these, to me, glancing at them really quickly, are changing like the structure of the voting and the seconding and the amendments. So they're removing the section of Robert's rules for the order. Much of the outline process does not apply to the ASPPC resolution session, and some of the information is inaccurate. The level of information is not needed in this type of document. That doesn't seem, too concerning to me. Major revision and integration of section 5 procedures and 6 for voting and speaking. There are numerous changes in the wording and practice. Major changes are outlined in the chart below. So they removed all moving and seconding of the resolutions. There's no need for this since the agenda is adopted at the beginning of the session. All items listed in the agenda become orders for the meeting. The sponsoring ASB may speak to their resolution, right? So I'm guessing if when they go to adopt the agenda, like I don't know if that's when you'd have your voice to say, I think we should throw this resolution out. It shouldn't even be on the agenda. It's no good.
Would be your only chance, I'm thinking, when it's written, right?
Yeah, unless you just don't want to be confrontational like that and you just like defeat it with the vote, right? And then that's where the 2/3 will make it easier to vote. Not sure how you guys feel about that one way or the other, or would you rather me just read through all these?
It looks like we're trying to speed the thing up, right? Honestly, 7 resolutions could take all afternoon the way it was, so.
Yeah. Then the next one they removed the speaking by the seconder. In all my time here in 11, it's been my 11th one going to. Very rarely does the seconder ever speak. Only if it's like somebody has really dropped the ball, but then even then, it seems like there's more people that stand up for support above the seconder anyways to speak for it or against. So to me, there's no problem with removing the seconder because they waive 95% of the time anyways. Speaking time for the sponsor reduced from 5 minutes to 3 minutes and reduced to 1 minute for closing, trying to streamline the process, right? Added rule that resolutions may not be postponed or referred. Neither of these parliamentary options are helpful for resolution session, and they are typically very time consuming. I think that happened last year where Karina, they table their resolution to like the next day and then come back and withdrew it after it got beat up again. I don't think if it can't stand on the floor where it is, it should probably just be thrown out and say, bring it back to us next year, right? Or don't. Added ability for the parliamentarian to preside for the meeting allows more option for chairing. So last year, how it worked, we paid all this money to have a parliamentarian, and he basically sat on the side and let the previous chair kind of let things go on crazy, and then she had to pull him to the side and talk to him a bunch. But he did finally come up and speak to bring order once it kind of got chaotic, but it'd probably be better if the guy that knows what he's doing keeps control of it before it gets chaotic. And like I said, we're paying him, can't remember what it is, either $2,500 a day, 500 for the 2 days. So we might as well as use his full services, in my opinion, unless you guys see that differently. Not, there's just 1/2 a page left. They removed the ranking of the motions in order. Ranking does not provide value for the amount of work required and the potential for raising unnecessary contention.
As witnessed last year.
Yeah, and I'm not really sure what ranking they're talking about, just the ranking of the, is that the ranking of the resolutions themselves, or what's the ranking?
Well, just the debate, right?
Oh.
The debate turned into a ranting session.
So then they added an order of business on the agenda for the resolution session. This will help members understand the process, order, and scope of the meeting. They simplified the amendment wording. More clarity. They removed the chair speaking to the reason why a resolution was deemed emergent. Not a bad idea, but not necessary and is time consuming. If the practice is retained, it should be another member of the ASBPC and not the chair providing this information. I was always thought when you brought an emergent resolution, to get an emergent resolution added on the agenda, because we've done a couple, the sponsoring municipality has to defend before it even gets on the agenda why it's emergent as of today and not brought up, through the regional process. I'm not really sure why. I don't ever remember the chair standing up and defending it, but.
So I mean, that's exactly our RMA, like if there's certain criteria to be considered an emerging resolution, you can't, it's something that's time sensitive. That's probably the biggest reason, right? If there's some legislation coming down and you want to deal with it.
Yeah.
Get ahead of it.
Well, I think one year they announced the seed royalties on farm safe seed in like November. So it missed the October through the where kind of something new issue happens in like that 2-month period where you couldn't make the regional conference, but the provincial conference is coming up and they want to get that issue on there quick. That's like basically the only reason why.
I mean, that's a good example, because if you wanted to use your farm safe seed and you got to get it clean before April, you won't really have time to wait until the next week, meeting in October, right?
And then the last one they got is addition of minutes approval. So they're saying by authorizing the alternates To review the resolution session minutes within 30 days, there will be an officially approved minutes of the AGM a few weeks after the AGM. Proposed amendments to the minutes can still be made at the following AGM or any future AGM. So they're basically just trying to get the minutes out to people sooner, which is probably good because the people at the meeting, when it's fresh in their mind, they can look over it and be like, yeah, I actually remember that or whatever, right?
Okay, so we got a lot of information there, so we'll, as it stands today, we're probably okay with it, but we'll just wait for the debate at the actual conference and kind of make a game day decision here amongst whoever attends the four of us.
And if anybody feels like what we read, they really need to be there to hear it all and have a voice that's not going, you can still register if you would like to go.
Yeah, so we'll attend that webinar and see if they got to say there. Yes, we need a motion to accept this report for information. Okay, Councillor Decken, all in favor? Carried. And one last thing before we get to our MPC is addition of the ag plastics. Just another webinar coming up.
So the actual proposed changes, I guess, just on the last one, those are like the next 10 pages of like all the changed complete document. The table was just like the summary of the changes they made where.
Yep.
I think anybody can just read that for their own information at this point.
Copy of this.
Tomorrow, I guess there's an ag plastics recycling webinar 12 to 1:30. Today's the yeah, so the ag plastic webinar is tomorrow, and the rules and procedure changes for the ASBPC is the day after tomorrow. So a webinar tomorrow, webinar on the 11th.
Are you gonna attend?
Not really. I'm not a super big I can, I guess, but I'm not a super big plastic recycler.
I was thinking about maybe jumping on just to see how it correlated with what they were talking about at RMA.
This one I don't see it asking for a registration link. Oh yeah, no wait, register here. On the back page.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to make this one tomorrow.
I already registered for that one, I believe. I'll check my phone again.
So Kaylin, I guess I could listen to it tomorrow. Gloria.
I've already registered for it too. if I remember
You
correctly.
self-registered for it?
Yeah, but if you,
Linda.
because I'm interested in this plastic stuff.
I have the link here so I can self-register too, Blake. No big deal.
You'll self-register.
I can.
Okay, everybody's gonna self-register themselves.
Okay, so we'll just get a motion to accept that webinar invitation for information and
Make that motion.
if other board members want to register, up to them.
After your MPC meeting, can we do my item on the council and then I go home and feed cows in the snow?
Yep.
If you don't mind.
No problem. Okay, Councillor Leach made that motion, all in favor, it's carried. Okay, we'll adjourn the Ag Service Board meeting at 11:01 for me. And we'll call to order our Municipal Planning Commission meeting. We'll turn that over to our chair.
Okay, I'll call to order the Municipal Planning Commission meeting. 11:04. Any additions to the agenda? Nope. Not seeing none, we have a motion to approve.
I can get that motion.
All in favor? Move to the minutes of the meeting of November 25th. Any errors or omissions in the meeting, in the minutes? Seeing none, may I have a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
I'll move the minutes.
Councillor Reese, all in favor? To 4.0A1 development permit DP 25-42 to be accepted for information. There's no questions, no council. Can I have a motion for that, please?
I'm just waiting over there.
I'll make a motion.
Councillor Halbisky, all in favor? Carried. Okay, so we'll move to development permits to be discussed, DP /25-37. Looks like Gail, that's you're going to be presenting that.
Yes, I will. Thank you. Good morning. So the applicant proposes to develop an accessory building or garage on lot 5, block 1, plan 0722536 on part of the northwest of 219123 west of the 5th. The parcel is 6.7 hectares or 16.5 acres in size and is designated country residential agriculture CR2 district by the county's land use bylaw. The proposed building will be 44 feet by 72 feet or 3,168 square feet in size. The subject parcel is located 1 kilometer west of Highway 35, 1.4 kilometers south of Notikewin, and 3.7 kilometers south of Manning Airport. The northeast corner of the quarter section in which the parcel is contained is adjacent to Manning town limits and to the Notikewin River. The parcel is surrounded by CR2 parcels to the north, east, and south. Parcels within the Crown Land CL district and Agriculture Restricted AR district are adjacent to the subject parcel. The subject parcel is located on the west side of the unnamed internal subdivision road, which is accessible from Range Road 234. The applicant has advised that the proposed accessory building will be accessed from his residential parcel located immediately south of the subject parcel, and that no access will be required from the unnamed subdivision road. The applicant has indicated that he will connect to the county water line to provide potable water within the proposed building. As it is anticipated there will be very little sewage, the applicant has advised that he will be using a holding tank and having it pumped out as required. The proposed development was reviewed against the county's IDP with the town of Manning and the county's municipal development plan with no concerns identified. The land use bylaw describes an accessory building or use as a building or use which, in the opinion of the development authority, is subordinate to, exclusively devoted to, and located on the same site as a principal building or use. The accessory building proposed to be developed on the parcel will be the only building on the parcel as there is no residential development. The applicant currently resides on the adjacent parcel to the south. Section I 1.8 states that at the discretion of the development authority, an accessory building may be constructed on a lot in the absence of a principal building if the proposed accessory building is required to accommodate the storage of vehicles or equipment. The applicant has confirmed that the building will be for storage of vehicles for personal use only and will not be used for commercial use, is not a residence, and there will be no home-based business located within the building. The proposed accessory building is compatible with surrounding land uses. A restrictive covenant registered against the subject parcel and other CR2 parcels in the multi-lot subdivision required on-site cisterns to be installed to provide potable water to the parcels until such time as connection to the regional water system has occurred. The restrictive covenant also stated that no development, construction, building, or use of any permanent structure whatsoever may be allowed on any parcel with the area was to be made, done, permitted, or affected. The restrictive covenant was to be discharged once connection to the regional water system was completed. The county has indicated that they will be proceeding to discharge the caveat on all lots within the development lands because all lots have connected to the regional water system. The application was circulated to the applicable referral agencies, including the town of Manning, and to adjacent landowners. Responses were received from Alberta Energy Regulator, Transportation and Economic Corridors, TELUS, and the county, all indicating they had no concerns with the proposed application. No additional comments were received. It's recommended that the application for an accessory building be located on lot 5, block 1, plan 0722536, part of the northwest 219123 west of the 5th be approved, subject to the 7 conditions outlined.
Thank you, Gail. Is there any
Thank you.
questions from council? Seeing none, may I have a motion to approve the development permit with the 7 conditions? Councillor Reese, all in favor? Carried. Okay, so we'll move on to DP 25 32, and looks like Deb, you're gonna present this one.
No, I will be doing this one too.
Okay. See if-
Okay. So the applicant proposes to locate a 45-meter communication tower on Lot 1, Block 1, Plan 902-1914 on a portion of Southwest 1286-24 west of the 5th. The parcel is 4.01 hectares or 9.91 acres in area and is a designated Agriculture General A District. The proposed tower is defined as public utility and listed as a discretionary use within this district. The applicant has indicated that the tower, made of steel, requires a pile footing with safety light and lightning protection and will be located within a fenced 3-meter by 3-meter compound. The quarter section is located 10.5 kilometers south of Dixonville and adjacent to Highway 35. The parcel has a residence and accessory buildings. With exception of the yard site and driveway, the parcel is heavily treed. The communication tower is proposed to be located near the south boundary of the parcel. The balance of the lands, except for a treed area in the northwest and the southeast corner of the quarter section, are in agriculture production. The applicant, in accordance with Industry Canada requirements, advertised the location and a description of the proposed development in the Mile Zero banner post on October 8, 2025. As per Section 4.2 of the Innovation, Science and Economic Development Canada, a letter describing the proposed project was also sent to an adjacent landowner. No comments and or concerns were received from either members of the public or the adjacent landowner. Alberta Energy Regulator, TELUS, and the county's Public Works Director all indicated they had no concerns with the proposed development. A response was received from Transportation and Economic Corridors indicated that they had no concerns with the proposal, but did indicate that as the development falls within the development control zone, a roadside development permit would be required. It is recommended that the application for the location of a 45-meter communication tower on Lot 1, Block 1, Plan 902-1914 on part of the Southwest 1286-24 west of the 5th be approved subject to the 8 conditions outlined.
Thank you, Gail. Council have any questions in regards to this development permit? Seeing none, may I have a motion to approve the development permit with the 8 conditions?
I can make that motion, Gloria.
Rachel, all in favor? Carried. Okay, so we'll move to the last one, DP 25-46, and I guess that's you again, Gail?
Yes, it is. Thank you. So the applicant proposes to operate a temporary industrial camp to accommodate approximately 130 workers. The camp will operate 24 hours a day and is scheduled to open on December 1st, 2025 and close on March 30th, 2026. The site on a portion of the Northwest and Southwest 24-102-3 west of the 6th is designated Crown Land CL District, and the proposed industrial camp is a discretionary use. The site has previously been utilized as an industrial camp. The camp area will occupy an area of 550 feet by 600 feet and consist of a parking area, dormitories, a kitchen, a rec room, generators, and areas for propane tanks, garbage, potable water, and sewage holding tanks. All buildings will be located on skids, which are placed on wooden mats. The applicant hires a contractor for food preparations. Contractors are required to follow all Alberta health guidelines. The camp is located 45.5 kilometers northwest of Keg River, 43 kilometers west of Highway 35, and 112 kilometers northwest of Manning town limits. A berm surrounds the site area, and the site has already been cleared of timber and brush from previous activities. Site boundaries will be flagged prior to construction activities commencing so that no off-site impacts will occur. Snow will be cleared and piled in designated areas, and minimal disturbance construction methods will be utilized on campsite. As no soil handling will occur, natural superficial drainage will be maintained. No stormwater retention ponds or other surface water management will be required, as work will be completed under frozen conditions. Prior to spring breakup, the camp buildings and any associated infrastructure will be removed from the site, and any snow piles or berms will be evenly distributed across the area for even snow melt. The site will then be left for natural vegetation recovery. The development site is accessed by Township Road 1020, which is located on the south boundary of the proposed industrial camp site. The County of Northern Lights has indicated the applicant has entered into a road use agreement. The applicant proposes to haul potable water to the site and dispose of wastewater and garbage at approved off-site facilities. The proposed development meets the intent and policies of Section 6.3 for industrial development policies of the MDP and the regulations of Section I-12 industrial camps of the LUB. The application was circulated to referral agencies for their comments, and due to a shorter circulation period, additional requests to referral agencies by the county were made for comment. Comments received were as follows. Municipal Affairs indicated that a private sewage permit will be required for the temporary sewage holding tanks. Alberta Health Services has advised that the applicant must submit a work camp notification form to their department. Alberta Forestry and Parks have indicated that the required approvals and agreements for use of the site have been obtained and that all applicable operational conditions and environmental protection measures remain in effect. The county's Director of Public Works has advised that they have no concerns and that the applicant has entered into a road use agreement. The county requires that prior to start of this project and upon completion, Pinnacle Services contact the county's road supervisor to conduct road inspections. In addition, all overweight vehicles must obtain the appropriate road permits from Road Data. Heritage and Tourism has advised that formal Historical Resources Act approval is not necessary and submission of a historic resource application is not required. Alberta Energy Regulator, Holy Family Catholic Regional Division, ACO Electric, and TELUS all responded indicating they had no concerns. Due to the time constraints on the file and the short circulation period, responses were not received from Alberta Environmental Protection and Enhancement submissions, Water Act submissions, or the Peace River School Division. It is recommended that the application for the location of an industrial work camp on a portion of northwest and southwest of 24-102-3 west of the 6 be approved, subject to the following 16 conditions.
Thank you, Gail. Council have any questions for Gail?
If I may just share regarding this file, this is the one that you received the briefing on. This file was only circulated for 5 days rather than 21, and I would like to thank ISL for getting that circulation notice ready in less than 2 business days.
Thank you.
I'll make
Yeah,
that motion.
thanks, myself, or speedy work on that, yeah.
Any other questions? So can I have a motion to approve the development permit with the 16 conditions?
I make the motion to approve the development permit with the 16 conditions.
Councillor Ungarian.
I believe Linda was speaking, but we can't hear her.
Oh, sorry.
Well, couldn't hear me.
Is there any other questions in regards to this development permit?
I think she's trying to make the motion.
I was trying to make the motion 3 times now and I keep getting overspoke, so I don't care. Whoever does it, fine.
She said she was trying to make the motion, but Linda, nobody can hear you. You're very faint, so I don't know if you're having mic problems or what, but.
I already made the motion, but if somebody else wants to.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
So the motion is made by Councillor Ungarian to approve the subdivision or the development permit with the 16 conditions. All in favor? Everybody in favor? Carried.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you, Gail. And
Thanks, Gail.
no miscellaneous, so we'll adjourn the meeting at 11:18. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Get to work. Yeah.
Thank you, Carol.
Yep.
Back in the program. Went back to work, we'll skip over to, let's skip to page 2, the agenda. And we're gonna move down to 6.6.3. Oh, sorry, we're going to page 2, the agenda, 6.6.3, Ag Services. Item A is the 2026-2027 mowing tender report. So just everybody catch up to that. Oh, yeah, right here. Sorry, I forgot about that. it's.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
A little bit better, Linda, yep.
I don't know which way to go with this speaker thing.
To the right.
Okay, to the right.
Won't touch anything, we're doing good.
Yeah, it sounds really good right there, Linda.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Everybody have the mowing tender report? Blake, you can tell us what you came up with.
Yeah, what I opened, didn't come up with much, but November 28th, 2 p.m. closed, had 3 bids submitted. George and Fred Thiessen, Silver Dirt Works Incorporated, Aaron Cook Environmental Services, current contractor. The totals I provided you there on the right are both years combined, including hourly and drainage ditches. So that's just lump sum, both bids for both years, right?
And that's, just to remind us again, the tender was for full cut,
Half every other year,
so same as we've been doing.
same as we've been doing. Do you remember we should be doing something different?
Yeah, I thought,
Just 2-year, right?
It's just a 2-year agreement. So the bids are there. Highest one come in at 862,156. Silver Dirt Works come in at 778,364, just $90,000 cheaper. And then Aaron Cook Environmental Services, our current contractor, come in at $566,272.
so is he gonna do a better job? Sorry. Of cutting?
I didn't find it unreasonable. You'd have a hard time convincing me of switching to somebody else for $210,000 to mow grass that's going to regrow in a month and a half anyways. But it's not up to me, right? So if we want to choose another contractor, so I guess just for, reference in case there is idea of wanting to change, George and Fred Thiessen, they probably have the least amount of mowing experience. They don't really own any equipment. They, I think, own 1 tractor and 1 mower. So if they did get the contract, they'd have to buy new equipment. And I think combined between the two of them, they had about 10 or 12 years of experience, like between the two guys. They're younger guys in their low 20s, I'm guessing. Silver Dirt Works, they've been mowing quite a bit. They're actually based out of Manitoba. They do some work in Alberta and Saskatchewan. So I think they work for Red Deer County and a couple other counties in central Alberta, and they're kind of looking to expand. From the pictures of their equipment they listed, they have by far like the nicest tractors and mowing equipment. So they're running all Fence and Massey new tractors that are like 2015 to 2020. So they would by far have the newest equipment and have done mowing for other municipalities. So they do have a decent amount of work experience. If you want to place emphasis on, I guess, seeing new Massey tractors and Fendt tractors in the ditch, they're $210,000 by rough math, $212,000 more expensive. Maybe we could hope they would do a better job, but we don't know that for sure. So you'd be gambling $212,000, hoping they would do a better job than your current guy. So like totally up to you guys. We're not
No.
bound in the contract by the lowest tender, right?
No, but that isn't what I was getting at. I don't care if they have brand new tractors and that, as long as the job is good, right? That wasn't what I was insinuating.
Yeah, I just like there are some hiccups and you kind of have to hound them to go after the brush, which I think I did this last year just in case they, for whatever reason, somebody underbid them, they weren't gonna inherit a mess. But I don't think on average they're doing a bad enough job. You would say we wouldn't award them the contract, I guess, is my opinion. Are there spots that look a little messy, or they mow when it's wet and we have to try to get them to go back, or we just deduct it from their check? That happens. We've had those concerns with Peter before when they, you know, drive an hour and a half to site to find out it rained and they don't want to wait 3 or 4 hours, so they start cutting and then you know, a day later when it dries off, the grass stands back up and it looks really bad and have to either have them go back and get it or they just don't bill us for those kilometers. It's not a thing that won't happen with another person trying to get production in a day.
Yeah, well, when you see
Concerns.
there's, yeah, $300,000 difference, that's pretty,
Well, and
Yeah,
I,
yeah, so I understand that part. I'm okay with them as long as, like I said,
No, it's total.
Yeah, I'm fine with this Aaron Cook as well. Hopefully he's got enough experience now. He'll be doing maybe be more efficient next year.
and I can
Well,
definitely have those discussions with Charles to make sure Charles is doing a good job.
He's in the room, though.
No, he's there. No.
well, and I think,
Yes.
That
Yeah.
is bugging.
I think there's some benefit to him coming back, right? Like now he's done the whole county, so he knows what to expect. He knows what our expectations are. So I think there's some benefit to that too.
Did you want to consult with David?
with who?
You're hilarious. You're hilarious.
And who's
Thanks,
David?
David.
No, I do not. Thank you. I'm consulted.
Inside joke. If they're fine, I'll schedule the appointment or have Teresa schedule the appointment with Gerhard when he's back, unless Josh wants to sign that contract.
So I mean, there should, I mean, the expectation of you in the past and your successor will be to, you know, make sure these guys stick to their job
Thank you.
description, right?
It's all laid out in the contract in the second page, like I
Only give the paper trip on.
emailed his main lead guy that was looking after it, and I just said, hey man, it's not about me arguing with you and you deciding where the right of way starts and ends. It's laid out in the first page of the contract, right? So you just
2 years, 3 years now, so.
yeah.
we should-
No, this 4 years.
Already.
Or yeah, it's the end of his second year, 2-year contract, right?
Yeah.
You guys could also like expand the contract, like his prices come in consistently lower, like you could bring him onto a 4-year contract. Whatever you guys want to do in the future, right?
Whether he'd be willing, you know, with inflation and unknown costs, if you want to extend it too long, because
Yeah,
fuel goes up by 20 cents a liter or price of the mower.
he's been pretty modest on his like increases from 2-year to 2-year. Like he always kind of comes back significantly lower. Cause I think I had what, 600,000 in the budget kind of for 2-year lump sum roughly. So, you know, we're within a 10% or so, right?
So what do you need from council then to approve,
That's well over my spending authority. So it's well over Gerhard's spending authority. So I think you just decide we want to award it to ACES.
so that we award it to Aaron Cook Environmental and,
I would, yeah, make that motion and order to the floor.
okay? Somebody prepared to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Councillor Reese moves that we award the mowing contract for 26 to 28.
Yeah, 26 and 27.
Okay,
Contradict yourself there.
yeah, it says.
26 and 27, it's a 2-year.
Oh yeah, I might have just. Well, it's on the subject. It says 26, 27, but recommendation,
Okay, we got-
fat fingers.
It is for 2 years, so. Okay, Councillor Roos has made that motion. Any further discussion? Questions, clarification? We know what we're doing? All in favor? Okay. Head nodding. Thumbs up.
Yeah, nobody said no.
When is Gerhard back? Cause they should probably sign this within a week.
Terry is the one who signs it on behalf.
So you'll be here to meet with Terry and him, schedule something within a week?
Okay, so that's approved. Thank you, Blake.
I'll leave that with you guys.
Just make sure you have a copy, 2 copies for signing.
Okay, we're still on page 2 of the agenda. We'll finish up with our development planning 6.61. Under development, we have A subdivision application 25 NL 17, farmstead separation. Gail or Deb, who's going to speak to this?
I will, thank you. So the applicant proposes to subdivide a 10.5 hectare or 26.0 acre parcel from the northeast of 39223 west of the 5th to create a residential farmstead separation. The proposed parcel is located within the agriculture or airport protection AP district or zone 1. The size of the parcels in the AP district can be determined by the development authority based on the nature of the proposed use, servicing requirements, and impacts on adjacent land uses. The proposed parcel size is required to accommodate the physical characteristics of the site, such as the existing residence, accessory buildings, open discharge system, driveway, and a dugout. Based on site characteristics, it is reasonable to consider the applicant's request for a 10.5 hectare or 26 acre parcel. The proposed parcel is at the southwest corner of Township Road 921 and Range Road 232 and is located 2.2 kilometers northeast of Manning town limits, 1.5 kilometer northeast of Manning Airport, and 1.3 kilometers east of Highway 35. The quarter section and proposed parcel are designated AP District, Zone 1. The proposed parcel contains a dwelling, an open discharge system, accessory buildings, and agriculture lands. Water courses surrounded by trees and shrubs border the farmstead on 2 sides of the parcel. The quarter section is under agriculture production and includes a watercourse flowing in an easterly-westerly direction adjacent the north parcel boundary and a watercourse flowing in a northerly-southerly direction nearer to the east boundary. These watercourses are surrounded by trees and shrubs and separate the balance of the lands into 3 distinct parcels. Cross-lot access agreements will be required to provide both legal and physical access to the lands that have been separated by the watercourses. A shed located 11 meters or 36.1 feet south of the southern boundary of the proposed parcel will remain with the balance of the quarter section. A variance to the side yard setback requirement will be required to allow the shed to remain at its current location. All lands adjacent to the subject parcel are zoned AP district. The proposed parcel is compatible with existing land uses in the surrounding area and is not considered to have a negative impact on adjacent lands. The proposed parcel is accessed via Range Road 232, which has a residential road classification. The applicant will be required to construct a new approach from Range Road 232 through 232 to access the lands located in the southeast part of the quarter section. Cross-lot access agreements will be required from the proposed parcel to access the lands located in the southwest portion of the quarter section, and also from the proposed parcel to access the lands located on the northwest portion of the quarter section. In accordance with Section 662 of the Municipal Government Act and Policy 9.2.4B of the Municipal Development Plan, a 5-meter road right-of-way will be required by caveat on the west boundary of the proposed parcel and the balance of the quarter section adjacent to Range Road 232. The proposed parcel is serviced by an open discharge system located a minimum of 61 meters from the residence, a minimum of 120 meters from all property boundaries, and a minimum of 61 meters to the closest watercourse. The open discharge system meets setback requirements. A county water line provides potable water to the proposed parcel. Policy 9.2.11 states that through the implementation of the Airport Protection District in the land use bylaw, the county shall ensure that development in proximity to the Manning Airport is compatible with the airport and not interfere with the safety and effectiveness of its operation or interfere with future airport expansion. The proposed subdivision does not conflict with the intent of the MDP. Section K 12.2 allows the Development Authority the discretion to approve the parcel size based on the nature of the proposed use, servicing requirements, and impacts on adjacent land uses. Based on site characteristics, which includes the location of the driveway, 2 creeks, a dugout, existing dwelling, and open discharge system, the proposed parcel size of 10.5 hectares or 26 acres is reasonable. Section K 12.2 states that a side yard minimum setback of 30.5 meters or 100 feet is required or as required by the Development Authority. A variance will be required to allow the shed that is located 11 meters or 36.1 feet from the south boundary of the proposed parcel to remain at its current location. The requirements, Alberta Transportation and Economic Corridors has indicated that the requirements of Section 18 and 19 are met and no variance is required. The County of Northern Lights requires the applicant to enter into a cross-lot access agreement. If the agreement is terminated, the developer owner will provide access at their cost and in consultation with the County of Northern Lights. Alberta Energy Regulator, Pembina Pipelines, and TELUS expressed no concerns. It is recommended that a variance be granted to allow the existing shed to be located on the balance of the quarter, section 11 meters or 36.1 feet from the south boundary of the proposed parcel, and further that the subdivision application to create a 10.5 hectare or 26.0 acre parcel from northeast of 39223 west of the 5th be approved subject to the 8 conditions outlined.
Thank you, Gail. Any questions on the subdivision application?
Another word.
No, Linda was trying to say something. If there's no questions, get a motion to grant the variance and approve the subdivision.
Make that motion.
Councillor Decken makes that motion. All in favor? It's carried. And we have, no, I guess that's it.
Yes,
Gail?
thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good
Thanks,
Christmas,
Gail.
everybody.
Well.
Gail.
Bye.
Thanks, Gail.
Okay, Pearl, we got you here. We'll do item B, administrative planning and development update.
Perfect. So every month we bring you an update of what occurred in the previous month. In November, we had a total of 7 development permit inquiries. 6 of those were handled by myself. 1 was directly to ISL. There was 3 applications that resulted out of that. And then we had 4 notice of decisions. For subdivisions, all 4 inquiries were received by myself. We had 1 application out of that. 2 notice of decisions were issued and no subdivisions were endorsed simply because they hadn't finished their surveys. We have a total of 13 files that were currently open in November, and ISL does assist with all of our files. Some other matters that we need to discuss. In June of 2025, we became aware of a particular development that was not permitted. We went back and forth with them for quite a few months. They had already put this home on the property, trying to get information for them and bring them into compliance. They've ceased responding. We sent them a letter on November 15th, telling them that they needed to respond to us by December 15th. The issue with this particular file is that it's located on a subdivided parcel. And at the time of purchase, it was in compliance because it was grandfathered in. It had a sewer system with an open discharge and a mobile home. They removed the mobile home and they put a new one on. And when that happens, we have to bring them into compliance with sewage legislation. Their open discharge is located 10 meters from the boundary line with the balance of the quarter, and it needs to be 90. After trying to reach the individual to remind him and check that he did get the letter, I discovered he had blocked the county phone number because we couldn't get through to him. So I called him on my personal line to confirm that, got through right away. He did receive the letter, but he stated to me on the phone he has no funds to repair this or remedy the situation. This could have been dealt with had he applied appropriately. We could have assisted with him with determining the cost that he would need to repair this and then put that on his mortgage. Because he didn't get a permit, because he waited and tried to get away with it, he's now in the situation where it can't go onto his mortgage. He needs to fix it because it's over 80 meters too close. We tried to contact safety codes to see what they would say. They said they would never grant a variance that extreme.
They actually laughed.
Yeah, they actually laughed. They said that that's ridiculous. He's quite frustrated as he was under the impression that his system was grandfathered in, to which I explained it was at the time of purchase. As soon as you change that, we now legally need to bring you up to standard. So the situation we're in is he has no intention of dealing with this until at least 2027. This open discharge is going on to a farmer's field within 10 meters. So it kind of puts the county in a rough spot in terms of enforcement here. So we're looking to refer the file to the appropriate referral agency for enforcement by the 15th if we do not hear from him on how he intends to resolve this, preferably this summer. Understanding that the ground's frozen, he can't move that open discharge right now, but it needs to be dealt with this year and should not wait until 2027.
One more point to add, this is not a variance we can grant, this is just water.
Yeah, it's the Sewage Act, so.
So it's out of our control, it is not compliant. We do not want to assume any liability by allowing him to continue, but we know it is not. So Pearl is being very gentle. I would advise you that as of the 15th, we will refer this to municipal affairs so that this is not our fault. He will not be happy and he will contact whichever one of you is his counselor, I would suspect. And more than likely Reeve and Deputy Reeve. So.
Is there adequate space on the property to?
Not for an open discharge system.
Or we have to go to
Even a treatment mound he could do. He does have options. He just currently isn't willing to explore them. We've tried to work with him throughout the summer when those options were available to him, and very little response. Yeah, it's a little frustrating, but
not just a matter of relocating pump up, it's more involved.
yeah.
So what his options were, what, put a holding tank in?
Holding tank, a treatment mound. There are other options with a lesser setback, which are pretty similar to where his current open discharge is located, but the system he has requires the farthest setback. So
They have like three stage filter in tanks now that you can get, and they're basically I think 3 meters from the property.
yeah, similar to the treatment mound, which is like an open discharge going up instead of out.
So his
Go ahead, Linda.
so the discharge is going where? Into somebody
It
else's
is-
field?
Yeah,
his
so it's supposed
own?
to be 90 meters from the boundary to ensure that it doesn't go into any adjacent land, and it is 10.
Okay.
We can't say for certain that it's going into the adjacent landowner's field, but it appears to be. I think so. I'll have to double check the land location, but I can let you know. So that's one of the issues that we're having with enforcement, and we're just going to probably refer this to municipal affairs to allow them to handle it.
Objections, council on that, that's my desire.
So I guess, and this is just a comment, not an objection, but how it was grandfathered in, it was okay.
Yeah.
And as soon as you change the dwelling, then it's not okay, so it's just kind of a.
Doesn't
I
make
can see
sense.
what his.
Yeah, it's they allow the existing buildings, but once you do bring the property with new development, the legislation says it has to be brought into compliance at that time.
Yeah.
So
And that's not your legislation. So.
yeah. So next on here, I have a November application for an industrial camp was heavily assisted by administration and the ISL team to streamline the process and bring the file to council before the work began. In discussion with the applicant, they had told us this would be January 2nd. From the discussion that subcontractors brought to us, we learned that that was a much sooner timeline, probably beginning tomorrow. Please note this application was circulated within 1 day of being deemed complete and 2 days after receiving the application fee, 17 days since we had received the corrected land location. This application, I myself spent over 5 hours with them creating their map. ISL had to spend quite a large amount of time that will be reflected in the billing for November. The applicant and its subcontractors cited a lack of awareness for the requirement to obtain a development permit for such uses. As such, administration would like to bring to council quotes for signage to be installed at the start of resource roads within our county, indicating the need for such permit and road use agreements. With your blessing, I'll be bringing that back in January of 2026. We thought of putting it in the paper. However, that's something you have to see when it's in the paper. If it's at the start of your road saying you need a road use agreement and any camps require a development permit, it's pretty hard to deny the lack of knowledge. Those quotes will be coming back to you in January for your direction. And then given the issues regarding non-compliance with our land use bylaw within our county and comments from those that are not in compliance regarding the lack of enforcement of the bylaw and maybe time to look for enforcement options for these situations. Specifically, we have sent numerous letters to those who have illegal hamlet chickens, requiring them to get a permit. They have not responded. Regarding the camp that I just discussed there, a comment was made of, well, what are you going to do about it if we move forward without a permit? This is an increasing problem where people have realized we don't have development permits or fines. That gentleman with the non-compliant sewer, his family just had a illegal development. They were well aware that this permit was needed, and then they followed by doing the same thing. We've kind of set a precedent now where we don't enforce, and it's becoming a little bit dangerous for us, or a little bit cause of liability. So with your direction, we would like to bring back possible enforcement options, whether that be fines or anything else. I'd like your comments on that.
And so also personally frustrated, right, because Pearl and I have at our disposal the land use bylaw and other things. So we are trying to explain to those who ask the rules. So now we have some people that come in and do things right, and then the next person just does it without asking, and they both get to the same place with no repercussions, except one saved $50.
Yeah, and then it also makes those who are following our rules and applying properly quite frustrated, because they say, like, why'd I spend the $100 if I didn't have to?
Yeah, it's not pleasant. I mean, we say, well, you know, we forgive you on this one, forgive you on that one. Next thing, it kind of blows up, and it's just go ahead and do whatever you want. We don't.
Yeah.
I mean, in the large, in the municipalities that are close to big urban centers, that would definitely never fly. And I guess we have the danger that we could get into something, or we could get into a real mess, right? So.
I mean, with the property with the non-compliant sewer, if they hadn't called about a utility matter, we wouldn't have never known for quite a while, right? And so we're having these issues where we're catching things after they're there, and then there's no penalty or fine for those individuals. And we're trying to get them to come into compliance, and they don't really feel the reason why.
But even if we have a penalty or fine, still, I mean, you're gonna fine them, and then what? They still need to.
Yeah, it's just right now they pretty much hit us with the, well, nothing's gonna happen, or what are you gonna do about it? And that's really hard from our point to defend when there's nothing with us.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If they don't pay their fine, can they be applied to their taxes? Or does it depend what it is?
And Brenda, I don't think so.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'd have to look in the NGA.
Yeah, we can send people to collections over them.
Oh, okay.
Just as bad.
I know you've tried contacting them via phone and probably by mail, but have you been to their
Yes,
place?
Gerhard and I
Leave
went.
a note or something?
Gerhard and I
would.
went door to door for the people that we knew were non-compliant. We spoke with them directly. We outlined exactly what they needed to do, gave them the application forms and our business cards, then followed up with a letter when those people did not respond to us. They're just,
Okay.
yeah, unfortunately, they're just choosing to ignore.
I see Kayla has her hand up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was part of my question, was how we, like, where we can apply those fines if they don't put them in. But I agree, it's time. It's unfortunately the Wild West precedent needs to slow down a little bit. I think it's becoming more and more common, and we need to have something in place.
So I'd like to bring back what other municipalities do and have you guys review that and give guidance on what you feel is appropriate within our county. Preferably in probably late January, if that's something you're comfortable with.
Yeah, that would be a good start, right?
Okay.
Kind of, you know, see if we're
Yeah.
kind of aligned with other municipalities. Like, we don't wanna, I think the objective is to work with these people as much as we can, right? But they have to be reasonable too, you know, like,
Yeah, might not even be a fine off the bat. It might be a, hey, I don't know if you knew this, you needed a permit. And if they choose to ignore that, then look at something.
yeah, I mean, I think the bigger problem for this particular one is the cost of doing this now, right? That's, I mean, the fine is not gonna change that, right? We can issue them with a fine, but they're still gonna be stuck with, if Alberta permitting, whatever you call it, gets involved, municipal affairs, then they're gonna have to spend some major money to come in compliance, and that's where the problem is. So us levying a fine is just adding fuel to the fire, right? I think that we have to try to explain to them where we're at and why we're going this route.
And unfortunately, we have had several developments that I've known of since I've taken in this position where it's been like that, but we've managed to get those people eventually either into compliance or to get their permit with much assistance from our staff. It's just there are some people who are now going, why do I have to? Which is unfortunate.
Yeah. So we want to seem like the got enough to hand in hand with reaching and interfering with people's decisions when they're meetings, but there still has to be some order.
So I have two recommendations there. One is to accept this report for information, and the other is to direct administration to research and provide council with information regarding enforcement options for non-permitted development.
And then that other one, if they don't respond by the 15th, that will automatically go to municipal affairs, or do you need a motion from council to take that next step?
I don't think we need a motion unless you're gonna tell us not to.
Yeah.
Okay, no, just so I was clear, I didn't know if you needed that or not.
I think it's a really good idea.
Thank you.
I can go ahead and make that motion then, Pearl.
The recommendation two, to have research and provide council with information regarding enforcement options.
That's correct, yeah, and accept the report for information.
Thanks, Keelan. Any further questions, clarification, discussion? Seeing none, call for the vote. All in favor? Okay, that's carried. Thanks, Phil.
Thank you, council. I know it's not very pleasant, but I appreciate it.
Get your uniform with some stripes on the wings.
I don't know about that.
Thanks, bro.
Okay, we can go back to page 1. The juicy stuff. Want to go sit over there? Or you can go
No, I can stop you here.
Okay, we'll go to finance 6.1.5. Item A, October bank register.
Yeah, payment registers, just correcting that, so. This is just your list of payments that were made in October and the next item in November. Here for your review as always.
Okay, any questions on any particular thing? If not, get a motion to accept the payment register for information, October. Councillor Reeve makes that motion. All in favor? It's carried. Item B, same thing, except for November.
No new comments?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Councillor Olabisky makes a motion. All in favor? It's carried. Then we can go down to item C, Director of Finance report.
Yeah, so a couple of things here. So just first off, attention to the recommendation as far as the motions. I wanted to have a preliminary budget brought to you guys for actually formal adoption. Forgot I hadn't done that yet, to be honest, but did not have time to get that all put together and brought to you. So that being said, it's our last meeting of the year. We need something that authorizes us to continue into 2026. So just looking for a motion, as we've done previously, to approve 25% of the previous year's operating budget.
Okay, so we'll make that a separate motion from your report. Sure. So, somebody prepared to make the motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Well, I gotta wake Gary up too, you know.
Yeah.
Gary?
Gary, are you with us?
Oh, you missed the mute button, Gary. There you go.
Still got him.
Oh,
Read his lips.
that thumbs up, you wanted to make that one, Gary? Yeah.
Okay, all in favor? Carried.
Yeah, and just so what that means, if we have any capital items requiring approval or tender early in the year before the budget comes, it'll just come to you in a council meeting. Grazing lease taxes, so this one is fun. We had an email last week, I believe. I mean, particularly, we have one very upset resident about this who is attending meetings elsewhere. Yes, this is becoming a problem all over the place. I've attached just an email of my summary, but I can give it verbally as well. Previously, and what people are arguing now, we used to take, let's just pretend there's 20 quarter sections in a grazing lease that all have the same grazing lease number. Assessors assess each of those as a parcel of land. Every quarter section is its own parcel. It's got its own legal land location. It is an identifiable parcel. That's how assessments are provided to us and to every other municipality in the world. A decade ago here, we used to take all of that, compile that, and then make believe roll number, transfer all of that together to avoid a minimum tax levy problem. I don't know why, it's just the way it was always done. That was my least favorite thing to say. It was one of the first things our assessor had grabbed me about when I started this role and asked me, please change this, it makes no sense. So we did some looking around, we brought that to council in a presentation 9 years ago, 8 years ago, and we modified it. At the time, our minimum tax levy was $75 per parcel. So we had an uproar from people because their taxes on their grazing leases increased dramatically. As a result of that, we bumped down the minimum levy to $50 per parcel, which in this case is still per quarter section of land, or they're not always full quarter sections, but per independent legal land location contained within the quarter. We've carried on like that until now. The biggest one we have in the county has 38 parcels of land in it. So this is the gentleman that reached out to Councillor Shug, I believe. So he's trying to say the result of it, if we just compiled all the farmland assessment data, he would pay about $900 less a year in taxes. It would be, right, it's currently 50 times 38, it's $1,900. It would be just over 1,000. It is 38 pieces of land. I don't think that that is unreasonable at its current state. That is my personal opinion. He forwarded a letter from some meeting in Grand Prairie that I had no idea was even happening, where somebody from the government who I do not know put in writing in an email that according to this section of the MGA, it's to be assessed as one parcel. You will get a different legal opinion on that every time you ask the question, because the wording I think I provided in the email is, it does not say all of them under a grazing lease are to be assessed as one single parcel. It says everything crown land that is tied to a grazing lease is to be assessed as a parcel of land. So we are doing that. Each parcel is being assessed as a parcel of land. Well, it's crown, but it's got a grazing lease number. We are not just making one gigantic 38 quarter section parcel of land. It's not how I interpret that. We've received no formal complaint or request, so this is just for information at this time with a history of what is happening. And like I said, the difference in the worst example is about $900 a year.
I'm personally getting it even a worse deal than that.
Yeah.
Because I have some farmland lease, and it happens to be where a bunch of borders connect. And I'm paying $50 a year on some of them, a quarter acre.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't like it, but it is what it is, right?
So what I don't know, and I haven't had time to look into yet, but we can look at whether or not we can have differing minimum tax levies. I know you can do it for vacant residential compared to other things, but I don't know if you can split out farmland and call it. For a grazing lease, we'll reduce it if it's fractions of parcels. I don't know the extent of what we're allowed to do there yet. If you want me to spend time looking into that, I can. But the examples are different, right? Like, so we have Brent with total of 4 acres, maybe, or whatever it is, like it's small. Okay, that might make sense. Then you have this other gentleman with pretty much, I think of the 38, I think 30 of them are full quarter sections of land. Bush or not, I mean, it's land.
Well,
$50 a year on taxes on a quarter section, whether you do nothing with it or not, I don't think is unreasonable, and I think anywhere else in the province, it's gonna be more. That's land.
I don't see that it's such a raw deal.
I don't know what they're paying in lease fees for these, but you guys might know that better than me.
I think Gary, we can't hear you, Gary. Did you have a point? Did you want to speak, Gary?
Yeah, your mic's not working, I don't think, Gary.
Try it again. I don't know if you got a mic. It's not muted.
Oh.
Well, there you go.
Well, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, I'm thinking, as the whole thing, we are subsidizing these lease agreements. They're getting their land really cheap. Now, why should we give them a better deal on it, you know, like over and above that? I mean, the land that he's talking about probably is, you know, a couple $100,000 value if it was on, you know, out for, you know, on the private market. And they get the use of it for, you know, very few dollars a year. And I can't see that they should be complaining about a little extra tax on it. Because at this point in time, we really aren't pushed for compared to what it was before, like the value of the grazing and stuff like that. So this is from a guy that hasn't got any lease land. So
And this is from a lady who only has 1.5 acres, and I'm paying $400 for it, you know.
So
There you go.
Pulled up on the screen here, this is the assessed value of all these different pieces of land. This is in dollars. Whole dollars, not rounded down to the thousands, whole dollars.
Can't see it.
Just because it's too small,
Yeah, maybe. Just hang on.
right? So
It's
whole
not on the
number,
screen.
assessed value.
We can't see.
Okay, we'll refresh this thing. There we go. Make it bigger for everybody's eyes, right? So every roll number is essentially more or less a quarter section of land in this example.
Yeah, we don't know what the acres are, but we assume.
Yeah. And granted, like, it's not all arable farmland. It's
Wasteland.
bush, it's wasteland, it's grass, it's swamp, it's whatever, but regardless, obviously, it's valuable to some extent, right?
Yeah.
So this is the biggest one that I'm aware of in our municipality. I think there might be one more that's close, right? So if you add up the total assessed value of 38 different parcels of land, it's 77,000, which is probably less than the average acreage in this municipality for just land. So at our current, if we just did that and rolled them all to one, this would be the taxes. Right now, they're all subject to a minimum levy, so that's what this individual is paying. Difference is not quite $900.
And previously, those 38 parcels would have been lumped into one, would it cost what? How did they assess that? Like $2 to $3 bucks?
No, it would have been like this, right? You would have applied the mill rates to the total assessment. The problem is, then you don't, like, then we are assessing a parcel that's make-believe, right? You cannot tie that to a single record that the assessor has. Which also creates room for error, and because we have to do that, our system can't do that automatically. It's manual, it was painstaking.
So there's an organization, well, Alberta Grazing Lease Association or something like that. That must be who he is referring to. And I don't think they're a government agency. I think that they're just a group of grazing leaseholders throughout the province that have formed this. And so, yeah, of course, they'll say what fits their narrative or their agenda, right? I mean, I see where he's coming from, because I know I have a grazing lease, and honestly, they get zero municipal services out of it. There's not a link to it, there's not an approach to it, there's not a, you know, nothing comes out of it. It's, but we could say the same about industry, right? I mean, oil and gas, forestry, CN, TC Energy, they all have pay taxes on some fashion. They don't necessarily get municipal services out of it, so it's a tough argument. I get it. I mean, I've got to pay my bill too. It's only on, I think, 5 parcels compared to 38 parcels,
But you get to use it, right? If you need
You
them.
don't have, like Gary said, you don't have to spend $200,000 a quarter to buy it.
Yeah,
so, I mean, we can accept this information. I guess if he wants to come before council with a formal
And that's,
request, or
I'm fine with that. I just, because it's emails back and forth and someone reaching out, like I said, there's no official ask right now,
Yeah.
but this is at least to update you guys on what's happening. I see Caitlin does have a question.
Caleb,
So, because I was the one that originally took this one, I think this isn't the picture that he painted was the issue to me. So I don't know if he's confused or if we're interpreting it wrong or what's going on, but he said that he had sent a letter to the office saying that the County of Grand Prairie was deferring all of these payments for the year because they were looking into it. Do we know if there was any truth to that? Like, or is there just a whole lot of miscommunication going on?
I mean, we could reach out to their,
So, yeah, I did see that Grand Prairie is doing that, but that's Grand Prairie.
Yeah, but based like on this minimum payment, like, is that why they're frustrated? Like, is he,
I don't
like,
know.
that's why that's my only confusion, because when he phoned me, like I said, in the letter, like he was reading me a bunch of different papers that he saw at this meeting and I couldn't keep track of it. And then he told me he was forwarding them all to the office. So I'm like, okay, well, the office will figure it out. And if it's just this issue, then I know that he was frustrated about it before. So it's probably a continuation of the same frustration. I just want to make sure it's not something new. And I agree, we're not going to do it just because the County of Grand Prairie does it. But I just wanted to verify that this is the issue, because this isn't what he painted to me.
Yep. I don't know what Grand Prairie's minimum levy is either, right? Like, it might be a lot bigger problems for them.
I'm thinking maybe they have a big minimum levy, but
I don't think I could.
I guess the biggest thing is I just want to make sure that it's the minimum levy that's the issue and it's not something different. If that's what it is, then it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, I'm confident that you're not doing anything wrong.
For sure. And I mean, if it's just the minimum levy issue, then to me it's a non-issue. But if it's something different, then
Well, it all becomes a minimum levy issue because that's
Okay.
that's what I mean, and ultimately it's a tax issue. Right? Because none of these are assessed high enough that for alone, they're all going to be subject to a minimum levy.
okay. So I'm fine. I'll leave it at that. I mean, if he's still upset, he obviously knows my number and how to get a hold of the office. So I'm fine to leave it at that. It just
but
wasn't
maybe-
wasn't the way he painted it to me. So I just wanted to make sure that we were covering our bases. So that's all.
If I read a news article that says Grand Prairie County being sued retroactively because they've applied a minimum levy, well, then obviously we'll come back to you. But I've like Danilda and I went, when this issue first started, we went to a property assessment course hosted by the provincial government. And we asked this exact question and we were told, no, what you guys are doing is fine. There were other municipalities that did it both ways, but it was at their discretion. So this is what I would say is the standard. Obviously, Grand Prairie County was doing the same thing. They probably have different people now, so they're, I don't know, maybe give us time to look into it, right?
But you said you were looking at some other options too, about how we could apply tax to.
We can, but I would like your direction on that, because to me, $50 each for 38 quarter sections of land is not
Yeah,
unreasonable.
you're probably not gonna come up with that
So,
option,
yeah.
probably, but, you know,
Right?
unless you count it somehow, but I don't know what that would even look like, or what that would even be.
Yeah.
Okay, well, carry on with your report.
Last one, so finally had a conversation.
That's the last one.
Yeah, I said the last one, I guess. Had a conversation with, a representative from Mercer, just about their assessment appeal. We've had no more contact from the Land and Property Rights Tribunal, so 2, 3, 5, 6 more years, maybe we'll have the full decision. But as it stands right now, we owe Mercer just over $1.5 million based on the adjustment. They would like that money back.
That's for
So-
the 1 year, and then they're.
That's for 1 year, and they've got 2 more under appeal. So, I mean, we owe it to them. We'll give it back to them. I just wanted council to be aware. I mean, if you want me to try and argue with them, we can, and try and get it, but.
Drag it out.
Yeah,
Keep the interest.
at the end of the day. We can
You
go
owe
back.
it.
We owe it to them, so. Yeah, and I told him we're dealing with one. I haven't heard a word about the other 2 years under appeal. They haven't either, so
Yeah, I imagine you're gonna worry better.
no.
Josh, have we heard anything from Northeast Foundation about what, where we send requisitions? Northeast Fiscal Division or?
So I haven't reached out to them. Kaylin and I had a discussion about this, right? There is no precedent and there is nothing in any of their, I don't know if it's bylaws or terms of reference or what to call it, but there is nothing to handle this because you are just paying based on a formula that's established, and that's the formula. So at the time, we contributed our share. In theory, your share should never change 4 years later, but here we are. So there is no way to handle it there. From North Peace Housing, I mean, our share will decrease, not this year because they haven't fixed it in this year's equalized assessment that's already out. So it will be fixed in theory next year.
What would that amount be, Josh?
I have that calculated. I think the North Peace Housing one. No, it was, that was a small piece of it.
I'm thinking it's significant.
Well, the most significant. The most significant portion is the municipal portion, right? So the North Peace Housing Foundation, 47 grand.
And then the school.
But if you think about what that means, like, okay, North Peace Housing, 4 years ago, we paid you $47,000 too much, so we need that back. Yeah, so then we send them an invoice and all the municipalities that are a part of that share based on a formula, which our share is still inflated, pay that back to us. And it's unbudgeted. So they have to increase their budget by $47,000 to do that, which means our requisition just goes up anyway. So it's kind of goofy. They held their budget this year, I think you said, right, Kayla? Yeah. So I don't know what to do with that one. They don't have a way to handle it. Designated industrial property and the schooling requisitions really are the same. They just are also an extension of the same government that's taking 4 years to answer these questions, so they've just been working.
Perhaps it's a question to the provincial government. It's their tax structure that created the situation, right?
You know, what would they do?
I would say if you have a chance to talk to the Minister of Red Tape Reduction, that's cool that you created this board that oversees everything, but is it really valuable if it takes 4 years and you're making us change things that technically we're not supposed to change the year after it happens?
Plus, we're paying that money that's not recoverable money.
Probably a bigger issue. So I think that would be my focus, right? It's to do this 4 years later is it's nothing but headaches. And like for us, now think about, I mean, Mercer is a very big company, but you spend 2 years fighting about this. And then finally get a decision on 1 year, but we're going into 4 years past the year that they're arguing to fight over $1.5 million, which is significant enough, I guess, right? So it's
But I mean, between the housing and the school requisitions, that's.
well, altogether, it's good enough, right? It's 136 grand. Yeah.
I don't know, I guess we have to.
So schooling and designated industrial property though said they have ways to adjust that, so I have contacts. We'll do that in conjunction with our tax bylaw this following year. And what it will look like is just a credit or a reduction of our invoice. So those are easy. Municipal, well, we've been aware of that every year for the last 3 years that we had our memorial bylaw discussions, so. In theory, you've got reserve money that you will be paying them back. North Peace Housing is really the only one. And I see it from both sides, right? Like they invoice based on the facts they have that given year, that it becomes burdensome on them to have something in place to retroactively adjust it, right? And this could happen to every municipality that is a member of North Peace Housing, right? Probably not alone in this.
Well, probably the unpaid oil and gas taxes would be the big one, right? If you're contributing to that and you're never gonna recover that. I mean, that's a write-off then, but this one,
It's like a write-off, it's just 4 years later. And even when they tell us, they say, please go back and amend your tax roll. It's like, well, we can't. It's according to your own legislation, we cannot amend the tax roll from a year that's passed. So the way we have to do this is actually just credit you in future years. But when the decision is this big, like arguably, we should be restating our financial statements from 3 years ago. Right? So that's a discussion I yet to have with our auditors as a result of this.
so you're saying that school boards or whatever that fund is, they have a way of dealing with this? What would that look like?
I'm assuming that looks like we have a process of reporting under or over levies every year, and it'll just be like that, so it'll be a reduction in what we pay them.
So we could,
And DIP, they send us an invoice, so they're aware of this, so they will just quite literally have that as an adjustment for the prior periods, and our invoice should be less by $7,000 this year.
but in North Peace Housing, if we did the same, that might impact their budget.
And it
Well,
would, yeah.
I mean, is that our fault?
It's got a physical hand up this time,
Go ahead,
not the
Caleb.
Zoom hand.
So I was gonna say, like, I think step one for solving the issue is that we need to draft a letter or get something to North Peace Housing in writing to let them know, because the problem is they only have a heads up to the situation because I've let Tammy know. Just kind of feeling out like what are the options so that we knew what to do. And she was like, I have no idea. She's reached out to all of her contacts. Nobody's had to deal with this before, so they don't know what the process would be either. And I think like in just my conversation with her, like a reminder for council, like those requisition dollars are only requisitioned for the lodge program, not anything else that North Peace Housing operates. And thankfully our lodge program right now is doing okay. That's why we're not moving the requisition amount for this year, because we had a bunch of carryover projects and we would have a tiny surplus that wouldn't allow us to morally ask for a requisition this year. So I think that being said, I would like to maybe see us draft something formal that we can send to Tammy so that the board can have a conversation about what we can do, because I think that there is wiggle room to deal with this currently. I mean, it's $47,000, not 4.8 million, right? So I think that is step one, because I think the board isn't aware. So that would be step one in my recommendation.
But it's going to be, and so that's the thing, right? My best guess is that the total from North Peace Housing is gonna be about $158,000.
Because of the two subsequent years.
Yeah,
But, I mean.
Right, but just like anybody else, we can't deal with it unless there's something in writing to deal with it, so the board can have a discussion and figure it out, right? Like, because I think like my perspective is like nobody's dealt with this. There is no precedent. There's nothing to compare it to. There's no mechanisms in our mandate as a housing board to deal with it, other than we can requisition for the lodge program, right? So I think we need to get this conversation going selfishly for my position on Northeast Housing so we can plan for it, and when I put my council hat on so that we can plan for it too.
Yeah, I think absolutely, hard for the board to deal with something that they don't even know about, right? So gotta lay it out there and see what they come back with.
Yeah, and I just think, yeah, I mean, like anybody else, a heads up is great, and the sooner we can plan for it, the better off for everybody. And I don't think, like from my conversations with Tammy, it's not anybody, like they understand there's nothing we could have done about it, right? Like this is a system problem where it took so many years to deal with it. So it's just, how do we be proactive and have this conversation now? And I think we need to do that now. So I would like to see a letter come forward and just let the board know so we can talk about it.
Also, I know, maybe not in a letter, but at your next board meeting, you kind of mentioned there's 2 years with, gonna have a similar situation, right?
I think the problem though, Terry, is it's such a different board that it can't come from me at a municipal level. Like I don't sit at the table as a municipal rep. So that's why I'd like the letter to come forward appropriately.
Yeah.
And just a heads up, like we don't meet again until February. So already we're pushing this really far. So if we could get that letter going and
a letter just for information, Caitlin, or a letter with an ask from council, just so I'm clear.
Well, I think I'd ask.
Yeah, I would say and ask, like, this is what's going on. This is the number we're looking to work in a plan of, does it look like a credit? Does it look like payback? How does that look from the board's perspective? I think it's a very unique board in that I don't sit on it as a municipal elected official, right? Like it's a standalone. So the letter needs to come from the municipality so that I can, be proper in my sitting at the table.
Won't be a very nice Christmas present from the county to Northeast Housing, but so,
well, thankfully, yeah, it's not a blind. They're aware it's coming, right? It just, the whole board needs to see it, not just Tammy.
Okay, well, absolutely.
So we knew this. I mean, when this tax increase came along, we were aware that it was a good chance that it wouldn't go through. So we were able to plan for it, right? But Peace Housing did not have any awareness this is coming. So
when it's, yeah, true. It's also hard to communicate. Like I had no idea what the impact of this was going to be, because I have the people who prepare the assessment going, we did this correctly. There's no change, and the people asking going, no, I think you over-assessed us by nearly $2 million a year. And then some arbitrary board in the middle gets to make a decision and says nothing until they make their decision. So it's like in my line of work, we don't really communicate that to people because you might just get everybody riled up. Nothing. So it's a weird one.
Yeah, but we were aware pretty much from the start that this could.
Since the time of the appeal,
yeah, it's not like we spent the money and I guess I guess if we see this happen in the future, maybe we can disseminate to other organizations that this may occur here, right?
Well, this was kind of a first time, I guess, so.
Second time, this was a big one. The first time was with CNRL. The impact of that one was like 49,000 for us, but we went all.
Yeah, so for Northeast Housing, that one would have been pretty minor. Lesson learned, Brenda?
Yes, I was just gonna say, I would like to suggest that we also send a letter to the Minister of Red Tape Reduction about all these issues, that this is taking 4 years on an appeal like that is just ridiculous, and like just outlining all the issues it causes for a municipality.
And our vulnerable population, because it's directly affecting
Right.
our lot.
Yeah, because now it's coming back on them, and yeah,
And for
it's
the
like
lot,
4 years later dealing with it. That's ridiculous. Like it should be done within a year at least. But I think we should write a letter to Minister Dale Nally, I believe, and CC it to Dan Williams and
Yeah, and I can see if there's another one. I don't know who actually oversees the Land and Property Rights Tribunal, or who would be, the only reason I think.
oh, he's
Brett-
Minister of
I think
Service
that's how-
Alberta, I guess.
Was through them, because they consolidated a bunch of different quasi judicial boards into one.
Okay.
And they went, look at this, look at all the money we're saving, all this good stuff, and all it did was make every decision take longer. So, yeah.
Okay, we'll have administration write a letter to North Peace Housing Board, and then maybe we'll also reach out to our provincial ministers, or list them all when they're appropriate. Let them know we're not happy with how this process went.
And then just the last thing, so, Gerhard and I went shopping on Cyber Monday, so didn't get a final thing from you, but you do all have laptops now. They're just not commissioned and ready to go. Got the sign off from our IT guy that the price was really good, so we just pulled the trigger on it for you guys. So sorry, we're taking your Apple products away. In my mind, this will be much more powerful for you. Yeah. If you sit on a board where you need to take notes, it will be good. It also, like, just so you guys know, it opens the door to have a lot more powerful things for you and for future councils. We can do things like have a file sharing thing where you can just get on and everybody can access the agenda instead of having to email it, because how often can your iPads not open an attachment because it's too big? Things like that, centralized calendars, centralized messaging. There's all sorts of kind of neat things we can do. We'll do it to you in baby steps. But
Not as enamored of these iPads as I once was.
no,
See, there's limitations to them now.
even fillable forms and stuff, it is a pain in the butt to do that on an iPad. Nobody will be able to say they can't do that on a computer. So, we'll have them probably ready to go for the January meeting, and then luckily, I'll just say for Gerhard that he's agreed to give you an orientation. He hasn't, but that'll be a surprise when he gets back from South Africa.
Linda, you had your hand up?
Yeah, that was my question. Who is gonna give us help with it? Thanks for the heads up there, Jeez. Josh,
What's that, Linda? Sorry?
can't you? Okay, hang on.
Oh, I can hear you.
I said, thank you for the heads up, Josh,
Yeah,
that he's gonna give us orientation on it. Okay.
it might be led by Gerhard, but yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. I said, thank you for letting us know.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions on the finance report? If not, I'll get a motion to accept it, and we'll have I don't need to put in a motion that we'll have administration write those letters as we stated.
Tracy's got it in there. She caught it all.
I'll make that motion, Terry, please.
Okay, thanks, Galen. All in favor? Carried. We got a bit to go here. Do you want to take a quick break? And then I guess we'll plow through it. We're not gonna go for lunch. We're close to the finish line, but should have some subs brought in, but you never, so. We'll take a 10-minute break. Zoomers can go make a sandwich.